Hello, my friends. I am here today with a really good friend of mine, which is really nice because every podcast episode recently has been me by myself. And I love nothing more than to go live with amazing people who inspire and share incredible stories. And so today, I've invited a guest who's been a member of United Art Space for many, many years now. We met in person a few years ago, and it was this person that actually planted the seed of me creating this podcast that you're listening to right now, the Your Art Matters podcast. And it gives me great pleasure to bring this guest in today because we're going to talk about their experience featuring on the Portrait Artist of the Year, which is a series on Sky Arts, which everyone can watch on Sky Arts and Now TV. And what's particularly interesting about this story is that they applied 9 times, and that's 9 years, 9 times in a row, and was accepted on the 10th year. It gives me absolute excitement and joy to welcome our artist today, Lloyd Lewis. Hello.
Hello.
It's amazing to have you here. And I have to say, Lloyd is also a martial arts instructor. And we will talk about Lloyd's other creative pursuits as well, because Lloyd is a very diverse creative being. And so we're going to talk about that at the end, about all the other projects that Lloyd has going on. But to start with, we're going to really dig deep into Lloyd repeatedly having a goal of being on Portrait Artist of the Year, what drove that goal, what has been learned, and the experience. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. When I heard the news that you had been accepted, having watched your journey over the years of applying and receiving the rejections and the no's and the coming into the group with the disappointment and then ripping work up and then starting again with portraiture and sharing your ups and downs along the journey. It's been amazing. And I have to say, watching it yesterday with my family, it was really emotional because I know, and like many of our members who know Lloyd behind the scenes, we know what has gone into you being on that show. And so I felt very moved yesterday watching it. And you came across great, by the way. I loved your little conversations with Richard Madeley.
Well, I'll tell you all about that. I'll dish. Yeah.
I love it. And so let's set the scene for people who haven't come across you before. You're a martial arts instructor and you've got your own business there, haven't you, teaching that? And you have been painting for many, many years now, haven't you, yes, alongside running that? And you are a world champion kickboxer too. We have to just drop that in.
Former two-time boxing champion, Welsh, British, European, Intercontinental as well. And won the European Games twice and the World Games twice. And I'm a 5th Dan black belt. But I don't really like to talk about that.
I like to bring it up though. And so it's safe to say then that you've probably got a little bit of a competitive streak. And so yeah, it's there, isn't it? And so let's backtrack to how art came into your life, because then I want to talk about this kind of goal of Portrait Artist of the Year. So how did art kind of come into adulthood? Was it there as a child?
I've always drawn as a kid. And I think it's a kind of typical, sadly, a typical story. I went to art college and then kind of fell out of love of art because I was told, that I didn't meet the criteria and stuff like that, and I should do it in a certain way. And the older I've got, the less inclined I am to do that now. I'm very, very set in my ways, and I don't think that is a bad thing because through that leads to authenticity. But I'll come back to that in a bit. So yeah, I just stopped. I stopped sharing my stuff because it was just, I was told I wasn't very good, and then I shared it with a teacher in school, and I showed him my sketchbook when I was working as a science teacher, and he went, "Oh yeah," and he damned it with faint praise, and I was like, "Okay, fair enough." And then I didn't show it to anyone else, and then Amanda, my ex-wife, who's was then my girlfriend, I was drawing in the back of the garden, in the garden, on the and she just said, "What's you drawing?" And I showed her. It was Dylan Thomas, obviously, because I'm Welsh. We can do Welsh people can draw Dylan Thomas just with their eyes closed. They can do it from memory. No, they can't. Sorry. But yeah, and then she was like, "I didn't know you could draw." So then I reluctantly, and I can remember it was like, oh, showed her my sketchbooks and things like that, and she was really like, she gave me a lot of praise, and I suppose I needed that back then,
Mm.
and that validation, and then boom, I started drawing, and it just reawoke something in me. It was like, oh hello, this is important. I don't, that's that beeping is not on my end. Sorry, I don't know. Just
So it's me. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to. Anyway, where was I? Got distracted by that. Anyway, yes. So it just like it literally was like a spark was lit, and then that spark just went and became a fire. And that's it now. I know that I will do art, and I will draw. I've drawn for every day for about 13 years, and
Whoa.
yeah, and I will continue to do that. And I've now painted every day for about 3 years.
Wow.
A good friend of mine, I said to her about my drawing every day, and she went, "Yeah, you're an artist, so why aren't you painting every day?" And I was like, and then she went, "So when are you going to start?" And I went, "Today." And she went, "Yeah." So that was it. Like you need friends like that, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've painted every day, and since then it's been a really interesting progression and evolution of my work. For me, it's the process of painting which is valuable, as opposed to the outcome of the painting, which I can literally, like, I'm working on a painting at the moment, probably about 35 hours in, so it's very early doors for me. And my process is like evolved over time. Like I remember when we first met via United Art Space, I was like, and done. And now I paint at a glacial rate. But
Wow.
yeah, so the 35 hours in, I have no problem killing that tomorrow if I don't feel it's working. You know,
Wow.
I'm there's bits there that I really like, so
Yeah.
I'm working on that. And so as a consequence, I don't tend to produce a lot of work anymore, work that I'm willing to kind of go, yeah, look at this. I will chuck a few things on Instagram, kind of going, oh, this is not, and then no one ever sees them again because they're gone. I say I kill them. I don't kill them. I just paint over them. Or I had to give one to someone because I'd spent about 40, 50 hours on this painting, and it was of this lady, a local cafe owner's husband, and I would show her. So I can't then just go, yeah, it didn't work, I killed it. She'd be like,
painted over you. You've become a flower now.
sorry, his dad's gone. But yeah, so I just basically, yeah, I had to give it to them.
I love that. So we are going to get to Portrait Artist of the Year in a minute, but I just want to talk about this now, because we're talking about your journey, and I think it's really fascinating because it gives us some insight into how you got to Portrait Artist of the Year. And so what interests me is that you started really quickly creating, and over time it slowed down, and that's fascinating to me, because I hear a lot the other way around, where people start off the other way, that they're very slow and then they want to speed up and they get faster and faster. And so you've gone the opposite way, which I think is so interesting. And that, how long could you then take? So you said 35 hours is how long you spent on this one. How long could a painting typically take for you?
Submission for Sky Portrait Artist of the Year was over 100 hours.
Wow, let's show that. That's a great segue into sharing that, and let's put it on the screen. So there we go. That's the one that took 100 hours.
Yeah. The background did not take 100 hours. The background was, but then I just liked the form and things, and it's evolved over time. And I'm only ever interested in the things that I'm interested in, and
Mm,
I don't want to compromise on that. I'm not taking commissions or anything at the moment because I'm just
mm,
exploring what I want to do.
yeah,
I'm very blessed to be in a position where I can do that. I know
mm,
that.
mm,
But I think we all are, really. I mean, just do what you want to do and paint what you want to paint. But yeah, so what has happened with regards to like my mindset as well, as I used to be happy with everything I painted. I'd be like, yeah, I'm willing to share it. And like now I have brief moments of satisfaction, and then like I get completely dissatisfied with everything I paint. Like there's bits on this that I'm pointing at the screen, but there's bits on this that I'm happy with and I think are really good, but there's bits that I would change,
mm,
like the hair and things like that needs way, like if I'm to paint that now, it's going to take me another 100 hours. So
Wow, isn't that incredible? And so I just want to mention about you being blessed, because I don't dispute that for 1 minute, because I believe that. But I also just want to say you have been the creator of your life, and you have set up this martial arts kind of academy, isn't it? And teaching other people that you've driven that. So although
yeah.
you feel blessed, you have been the creator of that, and so
Well,
you can then use that to fund your life and
yeah.
have this
It's not
creative like freedom which you've decided that you
absolutely,
want. And I love that
absolutely.
I like that you share that, because we were talking about this before we came on, that some people feel that to be an artist and a qualified artist and a serious artist and a recognized artist, that you have to be selling and you've got to be making a full-time living. And like Lloyd just said, you can just do it on your own terms, and Lloyd isn't taking commissions and just wants to explore the process and be slow and take 100 hours to create a piece. I mean, how liberating is that? Like
Yeah,
I
I want
love
to
that.
do. I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
The I I like to look at things on a long, like I like the kind of now, but I also like
Mm,
looking at things on a longer term, over a
mm,
longer scale. So if I look at the stuff I was producing 5 years ago to what I'm producing now, it's night and day.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
love the thought then that follows on from that is, where will I be in 5 years' time?
Mm,
And
mm.
that to me is just, it's a that's an idea full of potential, full of like everything,
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, and I love
Exciting.
that, like it's
Yeah.
exciting to me.
You're a
So
big vision person. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like with everything, like so
Mm,
I am the way that I live my life is I don't care how I sound now. It's very bohemian. I have
yeah.
a bohemian lifestyle now. Someone said that to me the other day, and I was like, oh, I do. I had
Yeah.
never thought about it, so I'm now going to say it at every opportunity. I may even get T-shirts made, but
I want to live a bohemian life.
you do.
I
I
know,
think you
yeah, I
do.
do. I'm halfway there, yeah.
But my martial arts school is a blessing. It's amazing because I get to work with some of the most inspiring people I have
Mm,
ever, like little kids. I can't. We had one little kid. We're doing last month. We had I wanted, because it was all Halloween and everything, and I wanted to do the lead up to Halloween as like basically turning the tables on your fears. Give your collie wobbles the scares. That
mm,
kind of thing. So they all had to just do stuff that was outside their comfort zone and things. We had stories that were so inspiring. It makes me then want to do stuff. I can't turn around and go to someone, oh no, I didn't do it in the end because, but they're doing pushing and going. Like we had one
yeah.
little boy, it was like, it literally
Oh,
brought tears to my eyes,
oh, I love
you know?
that.
Yeah.
That's so
No,
rewarding. And
mm.
so we'll come back to these parts of your life.
Yes,
These
sorry.
other, no, 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 it's fine, because I think it's really interesting how you've built your life with all these different types of creativity. So I definitely want to come back to this, but I want to backtrack a little bit now to, when you were kind of bursting with inspiration, drawing again because you'd had that validation from someone who means something to you. And I think we can all relate to that, can't we, where we
Yeah.
hide our work and then someone sees something in it and that person means something to us, and then it gives us that confidence to go, oh, okay, there's probably something in here, and I'm going to carry on with this. And so you started prolifically creating. Were you drawing, painting back then? Was it always
Drawing,
painting for
painting,
you? Drawing and
the
painting.
yeah, so I was drawing.
Mm.
I would paint in watercolor, and it was really funny. I started painting in blues, just blues, and because I was like scared of the color and the
Mm.
all of that, so it was just
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
monotone. And then I started adding color in, and then I changed to acrylic, and yeah, so
Yeah. And was it always portraiture, or were you creating
kind
lots
of
of different
I,
things?
I do some landscapes, and I've got an idea for a landscape which my daughter was at the studio at the weekend, and she did something on a canvas, and I looked at it, I thought, you absolute little genius, and I loved what she did, and I'm going to tell her, I'm going to ask her
Oh,
permission first,
yeah.
but
She
I'm
can
going to
watch this and hear.
yeah, yeah, but
She's
I'm
maybe
going to
watching now.
replicate
There
it.
you go.
She might be, but I'm going to replicate some of the things that she did in it, because I just think it's beautiful. Like, so,
Oh,
yeah, so
that's
I'm going to do
nice.
that, and it's going to be a landscape.
That's
Um,
lovely.
so yeah,
That's lovely. And so you were kind of creating, so watercolor, painting, drawing. You must have like a million sketchbooks.
I do. The studio is
the
yeah,
the
loads.
library of sketchbooks.
Oh my
And
days, it's where
and then
sketchbooks go to die.
what period of time then did you start to have the portrait artist of the year on your radar? Because I would
Well,
imagine there was
as soon as it started, it was just like, oh, that's good. And then
yeah.
then you started, as you watch it and you think, wow, and you're applying, and it's really funny. Like back then, I was like rejected, and now I'm like rejected. Yeah, of course. But like, of course you were rejected, Lloyd. Look at what you did.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. You
like
can
I
see
wasn't ready, and like it's an
it.
absolute truth. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I've now I've kind of I feel like I'm ready, in some ways. Although like my paintings take hundreds of hours, so over 4 hours is a it's a big ask. But yeah, I'm ready in terms of I'm able to cope with rejection way better,
Mm.
way
Mm.
so way more healthier and happier way to accept a rejection. Of what I when I get rejected, I go, okay, great, and
Yeah.
I allow myself a moment of going,
Yeah.
and then right, what can I do to get better? And the last rejection I had from Sky Portrait Artist, not the last one because I was in that one, but the last one, I did a painting. I thought that's actually and then it came back no, and I was looked at the painting and went, no, you're yeah, okay, fair enough, I get that. And then I said to myself, I am going to make myself unignorable in the next with my next application, and that was
Wow.
the idea.
So that was the shift for you, do you
That
think?
was
It's like,
the
how
shift.
do I make myself
Yeah,
unignorable?
and I
Yeah.
needed to I needed to be completely happy with happy's I needed to be satisfied with what I produced, and I needed it to be something that was completely something I'd never done before. So I did 10 paintings, and I destroyed the like 9, and I was like, yeah, that's no, it's not, and yeah, no, and there's bits you kind of things that you do, and this like I left one of the bits of one of the painting that was just kind of like a void, and then I looked at that and thought, "Ooh, I like that," and I just um like I like that kind of abstraction of it, the kind of with the detail coming through. So I wanted that. I didn't know where what anything was going to kind of look like, or there was no outcome other than I just wanted it to be a painting that I was satisfied with.
Mm.
That I said, yeah,
Mm.
good.
Mm. What I would love to know is from day one of applying, that first year,
Mm.
how did that feel? That first year of applying? Were you nervous? Did
No,
you?
I think it was the arrogance of ignorance, kind of,
Yeah,
I'd be fine. I
just
wouldn't have
put
been.
it in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Wouldn't have been fine, and it would have been a car crash.
yeah,
Every aspect, of
yeah.
it all. So yeah, I completely understand why I wasn't in. So yeah,
Did
and
you
it
understand? Did you understand at the time, or has that come from years later
that
of
comes
now
from, yeah. I
reflecting?
mean, you've got to reflect, and if you don't reflect,
Mm,
and if you are like, if you're like it's their fault, it's not, then that's a problem. Like
mhm,
I feel that I need to look at me first,
mhm, mhm.
primarily. What can I do better? And if I can, then I will. So yeah, I'm a very wise person taught me that. So yeah, it's really important to
Yeah,
reflect as a
yeah, yeah. Well, I was
blame.
just wondering though whether that reflection, from that first rejection, whether you could see clearly that, oh, this is what I need to work on, or whether there was still some area of, it's come from years and years of applying that now you can look back at that first piece and go, oh my gosh, right, I can
Oh no,
see
I
it
mean,
now. Or whether
like,
you came away and was like, right, I'm going to work on these bits because I think that's what's going to improve it. And yeah,
I think it was just from the way I work it, and it always worked, is continual, like incremental, like steps to getting to changing. I mean, it's not better, it's not worse, it's just change,
yeah,
isn't it? And the
yeah,
way that
yeah,
I'm changing, like where that I'm working now, is completely different to what I used to do.
yeah.
And so now I've got a studio, I can just leave things and they can just sort of sit there, and I can just come back and just keep pushing on those paintings. um I look at it now with the kind of artistic eye that I've developed, and I see just at the fundamental level there is a problem with the drawing, and there's a like there is a like it got obviously got a likeness and things, but
Mm,
at the end of the day that's got better. But ironically, it's also the same problem that I face all the time, is a fundamental problem with the drawing, with the foundational kind of elements, because I'm always, even though I work slowly, I'm always wanting to get into the fun bit with the painting. And
yeah,
like, so yeah, I'm
yeah.
as I'm a disciplined martial artist, but I'm also an ill-disciplined artist sometimes. So, yeah,
I think we can all relate to that.
yeah,
And
we all
so,
want to do that. I mean, but it's like I've
yeah,
got to just the painting I'm working on now, I'm blocking in things still, and 35 hours, I'm still blocking things in. And there's bits that I looking at and thinking, oh, that's nice. I might keep that. And then I'm
mm.
in the back of my head, I'm going, there's no chance that's staying. You know. So yeah,
And so when you were having these rejections, let's talk about those early
yeah,
years. So there's year 1, then year 2, year 3. Um, most people, I would say, I don't know what the percentage is. Most people probably would have stopped, I think,
mhm,
after, I would say, year 3, and I'm just totally guessing there.
yeah.
Um, Because of many reasons, just seeing it as a sign that, okay, I should see that as a sign that I'm never going to get in, or just the hurt that, oh, I can't put myself through this anymore. Boredom, like, oh, this, I'm going to just go and paint something else now and try something else. So many reasons why people would have given up at that stage. And so for you, though, you didn't. And I want to know why. What
Well,
was it that was really driving you year after year, especially those 4 years, 5 years, 6 years to keep going?
because if I stop, I never will. If I
Mm,
carry on, I might.
mhm.
That's that. It's
Yeah,
really simple. If other people can, then it's possible for me too. Like
yeah.
I've got friends now who have been in like the finals and the semi-finals, who've won Sky Portrait Artist of the Year. Like Curtis and things. He's just like I know him. I'm I've had loads of lovely chats with him, and he is genuinely like exactly as you think he is. He's just a lovely person. But yeah, my idea was that just if I stop, then I won't. And
Mm,
if I stop, then you know all the stuff that's gone up to that is for what?
mm.
Like, and
Yeah.
I don't paint solely for Sky Portrait Artist of the Year. I paint
Mhm,
because I have to. We've had you've posed these questions in the group many times. Why do you paint? I don't know. Like I don't
mm,
know, but I do know
mm,
I have to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just in you.
it really is. It's that fire that was lit, you know?
And do you think at the beginning it was about winning the show? Because
Oh,
you're a
definitely.
competitive person and you've won all these awards and medals and things like that. Do you think it started out as that goal, but as years went on, it sounds like then it became this process of every year you would apply again, but you would then, because you're a reflective person, you would see the growth too and the
Yeah.
change in your work, and it almost then becomes this process of applying and really kind of going inside why you do what you do and developing it.
Yeah, it's a lovely kind of catalogue of my development. Like if you looked at all of the self-portraits that I've applied with, you know, I look back at the first one and I was like, and I now look at it and go, really? I remember at the time thinking, oh, that's good, isn't it? But it's not. So yeah, it's just, what was the question? Sorry, I got my distracted.
I was wondering whether it started out as a desire to kind of get to win it,
Oh
like
yes, yes,
I
yes,
would
yeah.
like to be the winner of that show, but actually it became then I'm wondering whether then year after year it wasn't so much about
No, yeah,
winning it, but
it definitely
it
didn't
was
in the end. It
yeah,
was,
yeah,
yeah, like the arrogance of ignorance at the start, you know, like,
yeah,
oh yeah, but it is absolutely the right decision not to put me in on that program in the early years. Definitely, definitely. I would have been all at sea, and it
yeah,
wouldn't have gone down well.
yeah,
I'm a completely different person now,
yeah,
and yeah, and I there was an element of letting go of the outcome of it,
mhm,
and I think that's important too. Is don't attach too much care to the outcome over time,
yeah,
and I really need to work on that in so many other ways as well. I know that, but because I am very much outcome driven, but
mm,
sometimes you can't control it, and you just
mm,
have to do what you can do in the moment to get better and to find the next step, and that's
mm.
it. You know,
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, keep it simple, keep it real.
it's always keep it simple.
So over the 9, well, it was 10 years, wasn't it? Because it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
9 years of
Yeah,
applying, and then it was the 10th year that you were accepted. What I'd love to look at how it's changed you as a person and how it's changed your work. So let's start with you as a person. I think we've maybe touched on it, that it's made you
yeah,
obviously more resilient and you handle rejection.
yeah. I think, oh, like kind of sky portrait artist is a sort of was a an aim, an idea, a target for me to like, and it was every year you'd apply.
Mm,
With you kind of grow, and like being a dad, first of all, was one of the things that, you know, like, oh, you grow. Then you like there were instant changes when I became a dad, especially like when I look at my childhood. I didn't want anything like that for my kids. So
mm,
um yeah, so I stopped drinking when my Amanda was pregnant with my little boy, so I never drunk. I've not, and that's 12 years now. I've not had any alcohol
mm,
or anything like that. So there was all those kind of things, and it became this idea of like and it is relentless self-improvement, trying to get better, trying to be the best version of yourself. I love the saying, "Be better than you were yesterday." I don't always do it, but it's a really lovely way to live if you
mm.
can. If you think about that, you know, how can I improve on today what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
um so yeah, I think it's with the rejections you get a lot. If you're an artist, be prepared for wonderful moments of yeah, and but those are just the kind of punctuation in the in and the rest of the time is no. And that's it. You know, you get no's, more no's than you get yeses,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's just the way the cookie crumbles on that one, I'm afraid. So
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not like I dealt with rejections badly before, and I know that, and you've got to kind of look at yourself and go, what? And you grow, you understand that you've got to be, you just got to, like, it's nothing personal at all. I've got no problem with any, like, if I'm rejected, it means I'm not ready. When
Yeah.
I'm ready, I will.
And then you go back and look at what you were doing. That brings me nicely, actually, to each time you were rejected and you were going back to those pieces. I'd love to understand the process, actually, that you took to work on those portraits in between, because knowing you and seeing your work in the community, and you coming in and you were kind of sharing that I've done this piece and I've ripped it up and now I've got this piece, and it's been so amazing to watch you develop in between those years of applying. And so with each piece coming back, what was it specifically that you then went away to work on? Was it the technique of the paint, or was it the colors, or was there something specific that you kept coming back to and developing, or was it different each time? That's the bit I'm curious about.
Okay. Like, firstly, I don't ever rip anything up. I wouldn't. It's not.
No. Yeah, when you say kill it and
Yeah. So when I destroy a painting, it's just I will paint over it. It's just gone. But yeah, I'm not very good at looking back at things. And there's probably some very interesting reasons why there, but that's a different podcast and then a completely different
topic.
Oh yeah. But all I was interested in was getting better and being a better artist. I want to be the best artist I can be. I'm not in competition with anybody else, because art is vast. As an entity, it is vast. It's all it's all valid. That's something I've learned. It's like there is no like, I'm going to go off topic again, but I get so many Instagram reels and Facebook shorts and all this about, are you a small artist with a small following? No, I'm a gigantic, brilliant, big artist, but my following is tiny. But I'm happy with that. People, like, don't get caught up with the social media numbers. It's a vanity.
Yeah, vanity metrics. Yeah,
it's not important. But yeah.
Do you know, I was looking at a profile yesterday that has I won't say which profile it was, but they had like 1.5 million followers. And I went and checked out their Instagram, and we have the same amount of comments and views on our profile, which has, I can't remember how many, 13,000, I think, or 16,000, something like that. And they have 1.5 million. So it just shows you that it doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. And I'd be interested to find if they could be honest in terms of how they acquired those numbers. Are they real numbers? Are they real people that actually interact? Because if it suggests that the amount of people interacting on both accounts, so there could be an equivalence there in terms of real numbers.
It shows you not to get tied up with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Pointless.
And so, so then you were finally applying for the 10th time.
Yeah.
And how did you get notified that you got on the show?
So I was at Hawfield Common with my kids. They were running around, and I got the phone call, and it literally, I remember it now, you could knock me down with a feather. It was like, whoa. So I told the kids, and they just went, "Oh, that's great, Dad. Look, a butterfly." And it's just like, okay. And then I told my friend, and so yeah, it was just it was amazing.
I bet you couldn't believe it, could you?
I kept kicking myself. It was like, was that a dream? And then I got emails with the forms and things and whatnot. You gotta fill out. I'm not very good at forms, so I did it as soon as I got it. Otherwise, it would have been in my inbox even today. So I got it because I know I'm not. I have form blindness.
Same here too. I always make mistakes on forms, as long as you got your name right.
Yeah.
So, because I spell my name Lloyd with triple O's sometimes and triple L's and all sorts. In
Yeah.
fact, side note, really quickly, the book cover, the dummy book cover, had the wrong spelling of my name for ages, and someone said to me, "Get that corrected, otherwise you are going to publish that book with the wrong spelling." Anyway, back to you. And so you got the news, and then I'd love to know the process. Then, how long did you have to wait?
It
And
was quick.
so, yeah,
It
was
was
it quite quick?
quick. Yeah, it was quickish. I had some
Mhm.
time, so what I did after talking to my friend, and like had a day or two of celebrating, I was like, yeah. And then I got down to business, and I talked to Jeff Harrison. I visited Gail Reed, who's been in this, both been in semi-finals. I talked to
Mm.
quite a few people who'd been on the program,
Yeah,
and it's
great.
just know those people through. I'm like Jeff now lives in Bristol, and like he's a good mate and things, and so is Gail. But I first met them through their Instagram, through Sky Portrait Artist, and then you interact with them in the comments, and then like and
Mhm.
you develop a friendship through
Oh,
that kind of
so
thing, which
nice.
is lovely. I
Yeah,
think that's one of the lovely things that Sky Portrait Artist has done. It's brought like artists together a little bit,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah. But so what I did then was, I know that I've got 4 hours, but I know that they're going to be filming and things like that. So I did a series of paintings in a sketchbook in 3.5 hours,
mhm.
and I'm going to do a video about this on my YouTube channel. That's the next video
Brilliant.
going on, and just to kind of give the inside story about my preparation.
Mm.
And it was I in my head I thought, well, they might want to see what I like how I created my self portrait, but with regards to that, and I wanted to do that because that's what I was doing at the time. If I We'll come back to that. If I was going to do it again, I would change. But anyway, so yeah, I just did a series of paintings in my sketchbook, and I
Yeah.
just worked, and I just sat in the studio and just was, like every time
Mm.
if I didn't have the kids, I was in my studio, and it was just every moment, just boom, 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 work, and
Yeah.
it was lovely.
That's an incredible shift, isn't it, for someone who's been exploring a process over 100 hours to then suddenly just go, right, okay, I'm just going to knock them out in 4 hours now. That's like a real big challenge for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It was. I mean, I said it's awful. It's not awful. It's just a different way of doing it. The
yeah,
kind of the framework is different, so I have to,
yeah,
react to and meet that criteria,
yeah,
and that's fine. It just is what it is. So that's okay. You can do that.
yeah. And how was the experience on the show? Was it quite surreal? Do you feel like you just dreamt it, or
Brilliant.
yeah?
It was absolutely brilliant. The whole thing was was just a joy. I didn't sleep at all really the night before the
Mm,
film, and you had to be there for 7. I get up fairly early, and so I was up, got everything, got myself sorted, walked to the Battersea Art Centre,
yeah,
met one of the other artists there, and all the other artists were lovely, really lovely. There's no goss, there were no egos. Everyone was really
mm,
nice. One of the things I really liked though, afterwards, I got an email from one of the artists who thanked me for just being like daft and silly and just trying to break everyone's
oh,
like, because there was so much you could see they were like, oh, like that, like so I just thought I better like just lighten the mood a little bit. And I thought
mm,
that was like lovely. So yeah,
yeah,
that's one of the like that's a I'm happy with that. um
yeah,
so yeah, we got in there, we went to the green room, and we kind of orientation with the researchers and things, and they were all lovely.
mm,
They were like a little family. They couldn't have been nicer. We got to meet the judges, and they're again like not like Tyshawn Schoenberg is exactly as you'd expect him. He is, yeah, he's a really lovely man. Same as Kate Bryan, but she's not a lovely man. You know what I mean? She's
lovely person.
absolutely lovely ladies. They're really nice.
Yeah,
although I did make a massive fool of myself with Kathleen Soriano, because it was 20 minutes before the end, and she said, "So Lloyd," and they didn't obviously put this on the program. She said, "So Lloyd, are you going to do any more on the face?" And I said, "Yes, I think so." And she said, "Isn't that dangerous?" And I don't know what possessed me. I went, "Well, they don't call me Danger Lewis for nothing." I said that to Kathleen Soriano, and I just looked. She looked at me like I was, I don't know what, but yeah. So
World champion kickboxer, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She just went, "Oh yeah," and then as she left, she went, "Yes, that was very lovely. Thank you." I was just like, "Oh God, she's never going to speak to me again." But,
I was
yeah.
gonna I was gonna ask you if you could change anything about, you know, the application or the process. What would you change? Would it be that? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I was me. Like I'm not. I'm
You
not going to
wouldn't change anything.
change me. No, I would
No.
change how I painted.
Mhm,
I would I would paint it differently because I'm
mhm,
painting differently now. That's it.
mm.
Like
Yeah,
I'm not in any way. I don't regret anything because
good.
there's literally 0 point in that.
Mm.
Um, and that way madness lies. One thing I do regret doing though is a friend of mine said, "Oh, you should go on Twitter because they do a lovely little live comment." Don't do that. If you're in the program, don't do that. There was all sorts of people there going, "I'm so glad that all of Richard Madeley's paintings were," and it was just like, "Oh,
Oh,
maybe yes," you know. So I just went off that. I deleted the app. Oh, so
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
You don't need to see that.
You don't need
It's
to see
just
it.
people's
It's just
opinions, and they're just not
yeah.
helpful.
No, and it's
Yeah,
not helpful. And
no.
you know, like it's that age-old thing. I've never met anybody who criticizes me doing better than me. So, you know,
Mm, mm.
fine. I did enjoy a couple of my friends got in contact with me because at the start of the program, Taishan Schurenberg says on the telly, he says it's almost like he's showing off, you know, with the painting of the paint, you know, and I don't see that as like, I just think he's just sort of saying like, you know, this is like, you know, it's a positive thing. And some
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
friends are like, how can he say that? Like my mate from,
Oh, they took it as a negative because
I,
I took that as a positive.
it's
Yeah,
positive. And
yeah,
I love the fact that some of my friends were prepared to have beef with Taishan Schurenberg over a comment he made on Sky Portrait Artist of the Year. How cool
yeah.
is that sentence to say?
I thought the same. I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, I took it as
Absolutely.
a compliment, completely as a compliment. I don't think in any way, shape, or form he would ever. No, it
Because
was
I
all,
think what he was saying was because if we just bring it back up again, and zoom out a little bit, because the background is just,
yeah,
and so it's drawing attention. It's that difference, isn't it? There's a
yeah.
difference
What you
there,
can do
and
with
it's
the
drawing your
person
attention to the
painting.
skill, and I think that's what he was probably
Yeah,
getting at.
yeah, I
Yeah,
completely. Yeah, I did not in
yeah,
any way take
so
it as
funny.
no, and isn't it?
And so, do you have any advice for anybody who wants to go through this process of being on
Yeah,
Portrait Artist of the Year?
yeah. Paint what you want to paint. Be authentic to you. Don't paint for the program. Genuinely, don't paint for the program. Paint what excites you. uh, Look at other artists and enjoy and see if you can like that wonderful saying, steal like an artist. Like I'm working through a series of paintings now inspired by like my kind of homage to Francis Bacon's painting of William Blake's Death Mask, you know,
Mhm,
but I'm doing it my way.
mhm,
But that's the kind of at its core, at its root, what I'm painting, what I'm doing now. So yeah, just don't, like, if you don't get in,
mhm,
okay, how can you do better next time? It's not,
mm.
you know, don't, it's not them, it's you. Have a look and have a think.
Yeah,
Just be better and improve.
brilliant advice. And I'd love to know, after 10 years of pouring your heart and soul into applying and re-navigating and developing your technique and yourself, which has been an amazing journey, hasn't it? By the sounds of it, it just sounds like you've just grown
No,
so much from that applying. How do you feel now that's kind of closed, and do you feel like it's closed, or because it's been a big part of your life and your drive, so how are you feeling now that's you know, are you going to apply again next year?
I'm not allowed to apply next year, but I don't. I genuinely think at the start it was a big thing. I was like, oh, and that, but I kind of let go of the
Mm,
outcome, and I was like, part of the, like, I paint a self-portrait, at least one self-portrait every year. I sometimes
mm,
paint more, because that's, you know, the model's cheap. But I don't. I kind of feel, part of me feels like I've got unfinished business there, and I'd like to do it again.
mm,
I also, I think having that deadline to work towards is really good as well.
yeah.
Having the numerous rejections is really good as well. It's character
Mm,
building. Like, if
yeah.
you know, we're all going to get rejections. There's all sorts
Mm,
of things that we want that we're not going to get first time. And if you
yeah.
get it first time, then it's not worthwhile, you know?
Mm, mm,
So, yeah, so my focus is the same. I'm just continuing to develop my painting. I just want to get better at painting. I want to get better at drawing. I want to be a better artist than I was last year. Every painting that I produce, I want it to be better than the one before.
mm,
The last couple of paintings I produced, they've just had blanket rejections. So good, fine. How can I make it better? You know.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like the life has been wonderful. It's been sad. It's been glorious, and it's been heartbreaking over the last 12, 15, 52 years. You know,
Yeah.
it's part of its life's rich tapestry.
Yeah.
If you want joy and, you know, balloons and all the time, then you can't get it. You know, it's
Yeah. It's
you
not
get
real.
take the rough with the smooth. And I think it's really important to understand that, like, not like, and I think it's a good metaphor, like the whole art thing, you know, is it's a
Mm,
good metaphor. Like, the more time you put into it, the better you'll get.
yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
same with life, and it's the same with you, and, you know,
Mm,
all of us.
mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
deep there,
That's
didn't I? Sorry.
no, great. And I'd love to talk about the other projects that you have going on, because as well as the portrait artist, you are also, as we spoke at the beginning, you have is it an academy? Would you call it an
We
academy?
run Red Dragons Martial Arts.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a martial arts school. We've got a few locations around Bristol, and next year we're um, diversifying out into other
Um,
areas. And we've got a brilliant Pilates instructor, and she's going to be instructing with us, doing Pilates with us.
yeah.
And I think, yeah, we've got an incredible team. We work with some of the most amazing people on the planet, and they're inspiring, as I've said before. So yeah, it's I did right. So this is pertinent, but I did a public speaking. Right, I asked my mentor if I could do some public speaking, and he said, "Yeah, sure, you can speak at my event." I was like, "Great," and that was months away. So in my head, it was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And just that looming, 800 people in the crowd, right? 30 minutes. And I practiced, and then I was later on in the day, and I was world-class speaker after world-class speaker, like people who go into like Dubai, and that Susie lady, that she was there as well, you know, like big energy lady.
Yeah.
So lots of, and I was just like there sitting there going, oh my, I went through, I can't tell you how much, like the whole roller coaster of emotions. But in the end, like I at one point in my head, I went, I should just go. I should probably just go. That'd be fine, wouldn't it? And then I thought to myself, how could I do that? And then go back to my martial arts school and say, oh, how was your public speaking? I didn't do it. I was scared. I couldn't do that. So I just did it. I went up on the stage, and I planned 30 minutes. So I did 15 of the 30 minutes. And then I off the cuff the rest, improvised the rest, 15
Yeah.
minutes of just, I made it up on the spot as a reflection of what I'd heard throughout the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, was absolutely bonkers.
Wow. Do you know, you're so inspiring to share this stuff with us, Lloyd, because you mentioned that you know you're not very good at filling forms in, and I totally get that. And I think there's lots of people who I've been seeing in our Seven Keys community recently saying that they've got complete fears around becoming like a full-time business owner, or setting up as an artist because of this, because they don't like filling forms in and they don't feel like they could actually do that side. And it's so great to hear you share this, because
Yeah.
you'll put this out on the table, won't you, that you're not the best at filling forms in. I'm not either. And
I'm not. I'm
yeah,
not. I
yeah.
have strengths and I have weaknesses. You're not meant to call them weaknesses,
Mm,
but they're not. I'm not very good at certain stuff, and I will
mm,
miss stuff. I've had to do some of that. We're 6 years in now, and I've had to do quite a lot of form filling. My business manager now does that, and she's really, really good. We've got an accountant we pay for. We've got a lady who does payroll, so we're at that side of it now. So I
yeah.
can just say, like, oh, form come in, you do it, pay the man. So that's good, and it leaves me to do the other stuff. I've got
Yeah,
business consultants that I'm working with. I'm really excited for the next. There's some good stuff coming with Red Dragons. Like, I'm really excited because we've got
me too.
amazing people on board, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
that's super. And then talk to us. There's other strands to your bow. Is that the right term? I don't know. Comedy and children's books too. So tell us about
yeah.
those.
So I've written a children's book. I'm writing the next one. I've nearly finished my second children's book, and it's a
Yeah,
story I made up with the kids a few
yeah.
years ago, and it's been in my little head for a while. So it's like so close, and I want to get it out before the end of this month. And I'm going to get it out before the end of this month. The next few days, I'm going to get it sorted. But
Super.
yeah, so it's a little bit of me. It's the art's a little bit of me. When I teach, I'm sharing an aspect of me, and this children's book is a little bit of that little odd part of your brain that some people,
Mm,
in my life have kind of gone, oh, that's a Lloyd thing. That's just weird. No, I, yeah, I've had a number, especially when I was a teacher, I've worked with a lot of people who were like, oh, yeah, that's interesting, but that's a Lloyd thing. We're not going to do that. And I kind of realized now that it wasn't any reflection on me. It was because they're so scared of failing or making a fool of themselves that they just, like, so that kind of like rudeness is just, yeah, them.
mm, mm.
But yeah, so children's books, that's fun. I'm going to do another 2 next year, and it's something I'm going to continue to do because it's lovely to just write a story for a little one, and like, you can be as bonkers as you like. They don't. Yeah, you can just go bonkers because kids are just bonkers. They're bundles of creative energy, So they're very open for bonkers,
Yeah.
and I'm now doing stand-up comedy again. My friend, she, like I said to her, I've always wanted to do stand-up, and she went, okay, so when are you applying?
You've got a good friend who keeps you
She's
accountable.
amazing. Yeah, she's amazing. So yeah, I've got a really good friend there.
Yeah.
So I did, and then I
Wow.
didn't hear back. So I did an open mic, and I did 5 minutes, and it was terrifying. That was in March, and
Yeah.
then I've now done 17 gigs. I've been paid for one of them. I've been on the same bill as Robin Ince. I've done 15 minutes. I've done 10
Great.
minutes. 10 minutes at a comedy club on a Saturday night a couple of weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I literally smashed it. I was on the bill with some comedians who've been doing it for years, and they were all beforehand. They weren't speaking to me because who's that guy? And then
Yeah.
afterwards, like, I came off, and they were like, "Oh, that was amazing!" So I'm now on.
Oh,
It was
wow.
lovely. Yeah, and I'm
Wow.
doing my own show on Friday in Bristol. So if
Yeah.
anybody's grounded in Horfield, in Bristol, then come along. doors open at 7:30 we start. I'm headlining the first act because I can't headline my own show. That would be the height of arrogance. I've got a really, really lovely comedian headlining, and he's amazing. I've got wonderful comedian opening. She's genius. So yeah, my stuff is completely bonkers. Like,
I love it. Where can people find you, Lloyd, if they want to learn more about you and find out all the things that you're up to?
I've got Instagram, so it's Lloyd Lewis Artist, and I've also got YouTube. I'm building my YouTube, but if you can help me do that in your community, that would be lovely. So it's Lloyd Lewis Artist on YouTube as well.
Brilliant.
I've also got Lloyd Lewis Stand Up and on YouTube and Instagram. I've got a YouTube channel for my book as well. I haven't done anything with that yet, but I will. So yeah.
Before we wrap up, I'm just going to go through the chat because I've seen lots of people sharing. So we're going to wrap up now. I just want to say a massive thank you. This has been wonderful. I could literally sit here for another hour. And I remember last time I spoke with Lloyd, we could have spoken for all day long. But hasn't this been incredible? I'm just going to go to the chat before we wrap up. Lots of people just saying, yes, I'm loving this chat. Anne had a quick question for you. We'll try and keep this one quick because we're coming to the end. Is it hard to leave the initial marks of your portraits behind, as sometimes initial gestures can hold a different kind of energy, a less conscious part of the story that you may find in your sketchbook?
Yeah, no, there's things that I look at, like I said earlier, there's a part of my current painting that I'm working on, and I think, oh, that's lovely. And I want to keep it, but I know I won't. But it's good because it does inform the way that you paint, because I do like a gestural stroke on a, even though the way I paint is really kind of pointed sable, but I'm trying to diversify my brush stroke and the language of painting that I use.
Lisa said it's been very reassuring to listen to you, Lloyd, because my art takes many hours too. And so that was nice for Lisa to hear. Let me just see, lots of people chatting. And Anne's got another question. How much do you think your upbringing and your childhood has influenced your art, or if at all?
Oh, how long have we got?
No, exactly.
My upbringing, my childhood, yeah, like the only thing I was good at was art. That's the only thing I had recognition for. So it was quite powerful. Like it has well, no, I think that's another time.
Yeah. And then finally, Jenny's asking, are you more or less self-taught, or do you look at videos about color mixing, etc.?
I don't like the idea of someone being self-taught, in respect that we don't paint in a kind of vacuum. There are influences all around, and when you are an artist, there's things that you see. But like I touched on earlier, like I was reading a book about Francis Bacon, and I opened the page, and I don't know if I had seen that painting before, but it was almost like I was seeing it for the first time, that Death Mask of William Blake. And it was like one of those aha moments, Same when I saw Lucian Freud's painting of Frank Auerbach. Same when I saw Picasso's Guernica when I was a kid. It was just,
that one made me cry. Yeah.
If you haven't seen it in person, in the flesh, in the Reina Sofia in Madrid, it's just marvelous.
Yeah, it is incredible. There's one last comment here that we'll end on because it's lovely. What a wonderful, inspiring guy, and very down to earth. I have a fear of form filling too, so it's refreshing to hear of others who have the same. Yes. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. Thank you so much to Lloyd for taking the time to be here with us. If you want to go and watch the episode, you can go and watch it on Sky Arts, which is free. You can go and watch that on Freeview. I think it's episode number 1, I think.
Yes.
It is episode number 1. If you want to go and watch the episode with Lloyd in, the whole series is fantastic. You can also watch it on Now TV if you have Now TV too. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.